The City of Judgement. After the Great War, the world was in ruins. It was a vibrant planet once, now a barren wasteland. Fire had scorched it, ash suffocated everything. The sun, always hidden behind a thick cloud of radiation, cast a sickly pallor over the earth. Cities were crumbling, civilization was scattered into tribes, fighting for mere survival among the remains of what used to be. Yet, in the middle of all this desolation, one city stood tall, a grim sentinel in a hostile world. Judgment City, as it was ironically called, rose from the ashes like a steel monolith. The towering walls glimmered with the last remnants of technology. It promised safety and order to anyone who managed to enter its gates. But behind that facade of security lay a suffocating regime. An enigmatic and tyrannical leader, known simply as the Chancellor, ruled over everything. His grip on the city was ironclad, enforcing a brutal hierarchy where dissent was met with swift punishment. Hope? It became nothing more than a whisper in the dark. Life inside the city was a delicate balance of fear and survival. People worked under the watchful eyes of armed guards, their dreams crushed under the heavy weight of oppression. Among them was a young woman named Alara. She was a mechanic, with a knack for repairing the old machines that were scattered everywhere. Haunted by memories of a world before the war, Alara longed for freedom, not just for herself, but for everyone who suffered under the Chancellor's rule. As the days dragged on, murmurs of discontent began to ripple through the underground of the city. A group of rebels, calling themselves the Sons of Dawn, wanted to challenge the Chancellor's power. They believed the key to overthrowing the regime didn't only lie in brute force, but also in uncovering secrets buried beneath the city. They searched for an ancient energy source rumored to possess unimaginable power. One evening, as the sun struggled to set behind the nuclear haze, Alara stumbled upon a secret meeting in the darkened old subway tunnels. The atmosphere was charged with energy, the air thick with determination. The leader of the Sons of Dawn, a rugged man named Kale, stood at the center. His eyes were alight with fervor as he spoke to the gathered crowd. "We have suffered long enough," he shouted, his voice echoing off the damp walls. "The Chancellor believes he can crush our spirits, but we have the power to change our fate. We will find the energy source and use it to break the chains that bind us." Alara's heart raced as she listened. Here was a chance to fight back, to reclaim not just her freedom, but the very essence of humanity that had been lost in the war. She stepped forward, offering her skills as a mechanic, knowing her knowledge of the city's machinery could be invaluable in their quest. Days turned into weeks. Alara trained with the Sons of Dawn. They explored old buildings, scavenging for technology that might aid their rebellion. Each discovery brought them closer to the heart of the city's dark power. As they delved deeper into the tunnels, they unearthed ancient artifacts and remnants of the civilization that had once thrived, a civilization that had created the very energy source they sought. Among the ruins, they found the core. It was a glowing orb pulsating with raw energy, radiating warmth that contrasted with the chill of the decay around them. A relic of humanity's hubris. Yes, a weapon of mass destruction. But in the right hands, it could also be a beacon of hope. As Alara held the orb in her hands, she felt its power surging through her veins. "We can use this," she said, her voice steady with conviction. "We can dismantle the Chancellor's regime and free our people." But the road to liberation was not easy. The Chancellor, a master of manipulation and fear, soon caught wind of the rebellion. He unleashed his enforcers, a group known as the Shadow Sentinels. Their ruthless efficiency sent waves of terror throughout the city. The resolve of the rebellion began to waver as they faced losses, and whispers of betrayal crept into their ranks. In a desperate bid to gain an advantage, Kale decided to confront the Chancellor directly. He thought that revealing the existence of the energy source could sway the people to their side, rallying them against the oppressive regime. With Alara by his side, they infiltrated the Chancellor's palace, a grotesque structure of steel and glass, where shadows danced menacingly along the walls. When they reached the Chancellor's chamber, they were met with a sight that froze their hearts. The Chancellor sat upon a throne of broken machinery, his eyes glinting with malevolence. "You thought you could challenge me?" he sneered, his voice smooth as silk. "This city belongs to me, and I will not relinquish my power so easily. In that moment, Alara understood the truth. The energy they had unearthed wasn't merely a tool for liberation, but also a weapon of destruction. The Chancellor had plans to weaponize it further, turning Judgment City into a fortress capable of subjugating any remaining humanity outside its walls. What followed was explosive. Kale's impassioned speech ignited hope among the citizens, and a wave of rebellion surged through the palace. The Sons of Dawn fought valiantly against the Shadow Sentinels, their spirits lifted by the promise of freedom. But the Chancellor was prepared, and his forces were more numerous. In the chaos, Alara made a fateful decision. She realized that the orb could end the conflict, but also destroy the city in the process. Tears streamed down her face as she took the energy core and activated it, channeling its power in a desperate attempt to free her people. As the energy surged through the palace, the very foundations of Judgment City began to tremble. The walls shook, and a blinding light enveloped everything. In that moment, time seemed to stop. Alara looked around, her heart heavy with the weight of her sacrifice. She had chosen freedom over survival, and in that choice, she found a fleeting sense of peace. The explosion that followed was catastrophic. Judgment City, once a bastion of order, was reduced to rubble, its citizens caught in the crossfire of ambition and despair. The ground quaked as the energy surged outward, unleashing a shockwave that rippled across the landscape. The light of the core blazed bright, illuminating the darkness for just a moment before consuming everything in its path. In the aftermath, silence fell over the ruins. Where there had once been life, there was now only ash and echoes. The remnants of the rebellion, once filled with hope, lay scattered among the debris, their dreams extinguished in the chaos. As the dust settled, a figure emerged from the shadows, an embodiment of despair and resilience. The Chancellor, somehow still alive, stood amidst the ruins, a twisted grin spreading across his face. He had anticipated the rebellion, and he built his power upon the ashes of hope. Judgment City was no more, but its legacy would linger, a haunting reminder of the cost of ambition and the darkness that dwells within humanity. In a world that had once promised salvation, the only certainty was this: from the depths of despair, new tyrannies would rise, and the cycle of oppression would continue, echoing through the ages. Alara's sacrifice hadn't brought freedom. Instead, it set the stage for a darker future. In the shadows, the embers of rebellion flickered out, leaving only a void, a city condemned to repeat its history, forever haunted by the choices made in its final hours.